Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 25 of What If Naruto Became the God of Lightning. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto the Ultimate Nature Transformation and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, go ahead and check out Anime King too. And yeah, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button, guys. Comment down below and tell me, and I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, ready to begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last spot we left off, we start off with a flashback where Naruto and Sasuke was on the ship that was flying in the sky. As Naruto had slammed a fist into Sasuke's face, trying to knock some sense into him. As he spoke, the both of them spoke, as Naruto turned his back to Sasuke the entire time. If Sasuke wanted to, he could have attacked Naruto, but Naruto was not tense or anything, he just spoke. Sasuke knew that he had made a mistake back then. It had haunted him till this day, as he didn't know how to apologize though. He just didn't know how to. After all he did, how could he just ask for the forgiveness? But Naruto told him that they were still friends no matter what. As he wasn't going to bring Sasuke back to Konoha now, but when the time came he was going to kill Orochimaru, and he wanted to help him, as Sasuke left after that. As we appear back to real time, as both Naruto and Sasuke was taking on Orochimaru. As the others stay back as the field was electrified. Both of them move as a unit as they took on Orochimaru. Orochimaru got pissed as they thought that they could kill him. He was immortal. He was going to be the first person to learn every single jutsu that this world has to offer. The battle was intense as they destroyed the area. They forced Orochimaru to shed his skin and enter his snake form. As the both of them clashed with him, Orochimaru, showing that he was not someone to be trifled with, started to attack wildly. As Naruto compressed a massive lightning dragon that shredded through the massive 3 Rashomon gates at Orochimaru's summon. As Orochimaru was blasted, he tried to escape, but Naruto and Sasuke grabbed onto him, both of them creating their signature technique. As Naruto created a Rasengan, it was small 5 Rasengan inside of a ball of electricity. As Sasuke created Shidori, the both of them shot forward and slammed it right into Orochimaru. The explosion sent the both of them sailing as Orochimaru's body was teared apart from the inside out, finally ending the life of the great Snake Sage. So with that out of the way, as Sakura rushed over, Sasuke saw her as he lowered his gaze. Sakura punched him. Yes, she did. She punched him right there and then. As she told him that he wasn't off the hook yet. After everything that he has done, he was at least grateful that she chose to forgive him there. So with that, they made their way back to Konoha as Tsunade was waiting for them. Tsunade seeing Sasuke was a big surprise. Well, she never doubted Naruto, not even once. But Sasuke was not chained or anything, he was perfectly fine. As Naruto had to explain to Tsunade that he knew all along that Sasuke was gonna join back Konoha, but he just never told anyone. That made her a bit pissed off. As she told Sasuke that his chakra will be sealed away until she can trust him again. As she didn't know when that would be. Sasuke had to just accept the, punishment. After all he did. He was lucky that he was getting off so easy. If it wasn't for Naruto and Sakura, he'd have probably been branded as a missing nin, and 100 ninjas would have been going after him. As Tsunade then turned towards Naruto, she wanted to know what was his deal with Kirin. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place and check out for yourself. So to begin this new episode, a peaceful day within Konoha. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, Everything was just mwah, perfect. As the village was blossoming, bathed in a warmth of light that just seemed to bring good hope and fortune. Speaking for one Naruto Uzumaki, he was currently enjoying himself. There is nothing in the world better than waking up. To see the one that you love and cherish most in this world. As they didn't know if it was just some perfect awakening or something, but their eyes opened exactly at the same time. As a warm smile spread on her face. They didn't say anything, they just stayed there, as they just basked in each other's sight. Until it was interrupted by something knocking downstairs. As Naruto's eye twitched, as Samui giggled a bit, she placed a hand on his cheek. "What can we do? He's our guest," she said. As Naruto released a sigh, well, he didn't really have a problem, but he just had to go and ruin that perfect moment. Samui leaned forward as the both of them shared a passionate kiss. As they broke apart. No morning breath, she said. "I take it that you took precautions." As Naruto simply smiled at that, before he pulled himself out of bed. She grabbed his shoulder and pulled him back down though. "Oh, we're not done yet," she said. She flipped on top of him and started to kiss him, passionately. As that wonderful morning was going on, downstairs, it was not really a good day. Having your chakra for your entire life, you get accustomed to certain things and the way your body circulates, but having it sealed off, it became annoying. Just a little so you can survive and walk and talk and not feel completely drained. But still, it felt like he was wearing a jacket. 10 jackets that were soaked in water and weigh him down with gravel and weights in the pockets. Sasuke Uchiha hated it. Not to mention he was now living here, well, for the time being. After all, when you join a missing nin, it's not like you were gonna get paid every day. Although he did went on some missions for Orochimaru. But money was never something that concerned Sasuke, but now returning back to the village, he didn't have his old apartment. So Naruto offered for him to stay here. On the other side, he should be in prison, waiting out his sentence. But it's all thanks to his friend Naruto why he's staying here, so he should be grateful. But he was still kind of pissed off at the situation, and it brought out a violent tendency in him. Not that he would show it that much, but he still didn't like it one bit. As he sat down at the table, as he was sipping on his tea. Sasuke still didn't know where Itachi was, or where the hell to find him. That is why he was just waiting for the perfect opportunity. The Hokage promised him that by the time he was ready, the Akatsuki will be taken down. He will be out there as well. Seeing that they need to get rid of the Akatsuki so that Naruto will be protected because they were after the Nine Tails. Also, perhaps she could give him a pass for him to face off against Itachi. After all, that has been his dream for the longest time. To get revenge on his brother. And if he doesn't get it, seems like he's gonna go mad or something. Sasuke heard footsteps that snapped him from his thoughts. As he turned as he saw Samui. "Morning, Sasuke," she said. "Yeah, morning," he said. As she made her way towards the other room. She came back out after a few minutes, as she was only dressed in a towel that was wrapped tightly around her. As it further showed off her plump bosom. Sasuke couldn't help it as his eyes lingered for a few seconds until he heard the throat clearing from Naruto over to the side as he blinked and looked back down towards his tea. He did not react or say anything. As Naruto sat down, "I can't blame you," said Naruto. "I mean, she's hot. But stop staring at my girlfriend, okay?" I wasn't," Sasuke said. "Come on," said Naruto, "I caught you." As Sasuke said nothing more after that. As he just looked towards Naruto. "What?" said Naruto. "You are taking this rather normal." "What do you mean?" "Well, isn't it strange having her here? And her being a part of your life," Sasuke asked. As Naruto blinked, Sasuke did not think what was gonna happen after he killed Itachi. His mind never focused on that part. So, this situation seemed rather strange to him. After all, despite not being rather locked off, Sasuke never really went out of his way to speak to girls, despite many of them crushing on him back then. Well, it was weird at first. Well, awkward because she always teased me, said Naruto. Although I did get her back. But once you tell someone you love them, and they love you back, It's bliss, said Naruto. Sure you will get that soon enough though, he said, as he leaned back in his chair. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. You know, for someone who they praise as a genius, sometimes you're just godless stupid, said Naruto, as Sasuke's eyebrow twitched violently at that. He then sighed. What now, he asked, as he didn't know exactly what to do on his probation. Well, first thing first. You go talk to the others. What? You mean that Mutt and the others? We weren't really friends, yeah I know, said Naruto. But they knew that you ran away as well. Not to mention, we kinda came after you. And the battle was difficult. So you're gonna have to apologize. More apologies, Sasuke said. Well, if you would like them hating and resenting you for the rest of your life, you can live with that. Sasuke thought about it. He actually thought about it. After all, he really didn't care about most of them. Don't tell me you're thinking about it. No, there's something else on my mind, Sasuke said. Oh, what? Said Naruto. Never mind, Sasuke said, as he released a sigh. Fine. I guess I'll apologize to them as well. And you better mean it, said Naruto. People can tell when you're lying. Are you so sure about that, Sasuke asked. Yeah, well I can do, said Naruto. And if your apology is not sincere, I'm gonna tell them. Why the hell would you do that? Well, so they can chew you out even more. Besides, we haven't had our fight yet. Well, I'm looking forward to that, said Sasuke, but I'm not in the condition right now to fight you. You know, this would be good. I mean, you did kind of stab me through the shoulder, so if I wanted revenge right now, I mean I could, as Naruto slapped Sasuke over the head. Hey, Sasuke said. As Naruto laughed as he stepped back as Sasuke swung at him. I mean, you don't really have your chakra. So if I wanted to... As Naruto flicked Sasuke over the ear, Sasuke's eyes turned towards him dangerously, but he couldn't even activate his Sharingan. Naruto was about to do it again when the doorbell rang. As he turned his head, alright, enough playtime, he says. He made his way towards the door. As he saw Sakura standing there, as she smiled at him. Good morning, Naruto, she said. Good morning, Sakura, said Naruto. How did you sleep, she asked. In pure bliss, said Naruto. How about you? Well, it was okay, she said to him. Yeah, bet without Sasuke your sleep is not so perfect. Sakura's face turned red. What? Oh, never mind, said Naruto. So, did you talk to them? Yes. I managed to convince all of them to come tonight. Did you talk to him? Yeah, and he's gonna apologize for what he did. I mean, they did got hurt because of him. Yeah, said Sakura. Come on, no need to be sad. Everything's gonna be fine, said Naruto. Sakura cheered up at that. Where is he, she asked. He's in the shower. He told me if you drop by you can step on in. I'll show you, said Naruto, as he started to walk off. Sakura flustered, she started to babble something at the door, as Naruto simply laughed. As Sakura then raised the eyebrow as she heard the shower running. You see, as Naruto nodded, Sakura's face turned extremely red. No, she wasn't ready for something like this yet, was she? Or suppose she should? As her feet raised towards the Sakura, she blinked as she saw Sasuke standing there. She turned towards Naruto with a glare, who was laughing his ass off. Time skip. So, he's finally back, huh? As all of the members, all the rookies, they were all gathered up. Kiba was the one that spoke after all. He went on that mission. Neji had went on that mission as well, along with Rock Lee, and Shino as well. And they had gotten injured. Nothing too bad, but yes, it was a tough battle. And you could die in any shinobi battle. So for them to go after him, risking their life, well, they all deserve an apology. Because Sasuke is now back in the village, as rumors had spread. And another rumor that Naruto and Sasuke was the one that killed Orochimaru. That was a big threat of Konoha eliminated. The only other big threat out there was Itachi. That was from Konoha. But Orochimaru was one of the biggest as well. As Kiba tapped his foot on the ground, as he was rather impatient about this all. As he deserved an apology. Yes, at least that much. Kiba-kun, everything's gonna be fine, said Hinata. She saw that he was quite agitated. I'm sure that he's here to apologize for what he did back then. As Shino said nothing, neither did Neji or Rock Lee. Kiba was the only one that was threw in a hissy fit. The door of the barbecue shack opened up as Sasuke stepped in first. Next to follow him was Sakura, and then Naruto, as Naruto had his hand behind his head with Samui, as she was right beside him. As she looked over the others as well, they had become good friends since he came over towards his village. Well, except Kiba, he was still afraid to talk to her, since the night when she played with his pride and simply crushed it. But she didn't have anything against him. They came over as it was a rather large boot, as they slid in as well. The ear was uncomfortable and silent. Kiba decided to break it. What? Don't have anything to say, he asked. Sasuke eye twitched. It had to be the mutt that spoke first, right? As he was about to say something really bad, but Naruto looked towards him. So instead he bowed his head. As he looked towards all of them when he looked back up. Lee, Neji, Kiba, Shino, I apologize to you all for what I put you through, he said. His tone sounded rather sincere as he spoke. That's much more like it, said Naruto. You did not kill any Konoha shinobi. And you also helped eradicate one of our greatest threats, Orochimaru the Sannin. Perhaps the effect of the problem was worth the result, said Shino, as he didn't say anything else. As you could look at it as a compliment, or as a, way of him not really answering the rest of the question. I must say, friend Sasuke, my spirit had been dim to know that you would betray us like that. But my flame of youth has grown once again, said Lee, as he gave Sasuke a thumbs up. To know that you came back, and you also helped our dear friend Naruto here to get rid of one of our greatest enemies, Orochimaru the Sannin. So, I will bless you with youth of flame once again, but do not let it diminish, said Lee. As Neji looked towards Sasuke. Sasuke was a part of the reason why Neji changed. After all, the both of them had fought each other in Chunin exams, where he had told him that fate was, not really a thing. And he had shown him that right there and then. I commend you for your efforts on taking down Orochimaru. That was all that Neji said. He didn't say if he accepted or not. Kiba snarled. I think you should be begging for my forgiveness. Better than that. I mean, I did risk my life to come and save you. Hey, listen, Sasuke felt something step on his feet. As he took a breath, yes. I am sorry for making you risk your life to come after me, for my stupid decision, he said politely. You have to forgive him now, he is sorry. And besides, he didn't do anything too bad, said Ino. Fine. Guess I can forgive you now, but do something like that again, and I'll be the one to come after you and kick your ass, you hear that? I'm sorry to the rest of you as well, said Sasuke. Shikamaru sighed. Well, this could have been said in a letter, he said. As he just leaned back. Troublesome. Well, what are we eating, said Naruto, as Choji mouthed water at that. Time skip. Go. Now, said Yujito, as she looked towards Karu and Amoy. The three of them were far off from Kumo. They were more close to the land of lightning. As they were at the land of bears, it will take a while to get to the land of lightning. But they were far from Kumo. When they were attacked, it was a B-rank mission. For old time's sake, they went on a mission as a team together. But now they were attacked. Like I'll let any of them leave, said a voice. He's alive? Said Karu. She run her sword right to that man's chest, and yet he's alive. Bitch, please, he done said. Your puny weapons can't do anything to me. Lord Jashin has gifted me with the gift of immortality. As they were already panting, Amoy quickly grabbed onto Karu and threw her as a fist brushed through the air where her face once was. Amoy received a massive kick to the chest that launched him backwards as he crashed on the ground. Enough playing around. He done. Let's do this, said Kakazu. Yujito erupted with blue flames as she transformed, trampling all the trees around. She roared as she battered with the other two with her tails. She then looked towards her two students. Run, she roared in a voice. Her voice sounding dark as it roared towards them. As Amoy was picked up by Karu. You better come back, Sensei. As they quickly made their way back to the land of lightning, they had to get reinforcements immediately. But with the state that they were in, it would take a while. As Yujito turned in her giant Nibi form, as she roared once again, as he uncovered his ears. "Your whining is not gonna stop us from taking you down," he said. As he licked his lips, before launching himself forward. Time skip. Right, Kage-sama. As Mabi brushed into the room, we just received a report that Amoy and Kara's returned injured from their last mission. That was 2 days ago. But it was just a simple B rank. Where's Yujito? She should be, sir. She's not with them. They're being rushed towards the hospital. They are suffering from a case of shock exhaustion. They say that they need to talk to you immediately, sir. You need to go now before they pass. She couldn't get to finish a sentence as Raikage was through the door in a second. Moments later, the Raikage received the news. The two had went in the infirmary as their condition was a bit bad. As he quickly called for his envoys to scout the entire area before it was too late. Yujito was taken by the Akatsuki as he quickly made his way towards his office. As he told one of his men to get one of the hawks. The last known location was near the land of fire. So perhaps, maybe perhaps, he wasn't going to be late. As he quickly sent out the hawk with a message towards Konoha. Time skip. As Snavy received the letter, she looked at Shizune. "What's wrong, Lead Snavy? Quickly, get me Team 7 and 8 immediately." At once. With that, Shizune made their way off. The group arrived towards the office. "Hey Bachan, what's wrong? Send Naruto." As he looked towards her, he saw the worried look on her face. Her eyes went towards Samui. As Samui caught the subtle gesture, something was wrong that revolves around her, right? "I'm sorry to say this, but Yujito has been captured by the Akatsuki." Kakashi twitched at that, as Naruto noticed as well. "When?" asked Samui. "From what I was told 2 days ago, the direction that you were last seen was Land of Fire. That is why I need you and Team 8 to quickly make your way out there, the track, and try to find any sensible thread that you could do to find the Akatsuki and stop them from doing what they did to Gaara." This was completely different than last time. There was no Lady Chiyo around to bring back Yujito. She died. "Quickly, I want you all to leave immediately. We don't have much time." With that, Team 8 and Team 7 made their way off. As Sasuke was left alone in the apartment after all. He could not help. He was still on probation. They quickly spread out through the land of fire, trying to find any trail. As Naruto came to a stop with all of them. "Alright." As he held out his hand. "This seal on the back of my hand," he said. "It can be used as a communicator. We all need to split up so we can cover more grounds. Once you indeed find something, just send chakra to the seal and everyone else will receive the signal. The more faded it gets, the more far you're going from the signal that send the pulse out. The more indebted it gets, the closer you're coming. You guys understand?" Hinata and the others nodded as Naruto applied the seal to all of their arms. With that, they split apart as Naruto created 100 clones as they split up and started to scour the entire place. Hinata activated her Byakugan as she spread out as well, as Kiba started to sniff with his nose to find anything out of the ordinary, as everyone is moving around. As Naruto clones danced from tree branch to tree branch, a head came out of the ground. The plant man was watching them. Before he sank back underground, the man appeared as he had a base set up in the land of fire, a large remote cave that looked like it was underground, but it was indeed on the surface. But the way the cave was built, it was built right into the side of a mountain, so it was hard to find. Zetsu arrived in the cave. "It seems that they're on to us," he said. Pain cracked open one of his eye. "Who is it?" "The Kyuubi Jinjuki and a lot more. They're scouring the entire area. Given their progress, it won't take long for them to find this place. They also have a Hyuga member amongst them as well." As Nagato, looking through the Tendo eyes, looked up towards the ceiling statue. "It won't take too long," he said. He had Hidon Takatsu, he had Konan, he had Itachi, and he had Kisame himself. Keep me updated on their location. Meanwhile, Naruto dashed from tree branch to tree branch to real one. Damn it, he cursed. The longer you take, kid, the more chakra they gather from a Nibi. I know, said Naruto as he made his way. Damn it. They're still gathering the tail beasts one after another. And I'm unable to stop all of their members. We can't allow them to bring back that beast. It will be the end of humanity, said Naruto as he dashed from tree branch to tree branch. As he scouted over the area, he has received nothing from his clones yet, as he quickly made his way. Sakura had quickly entered the town and asked if anyone had seen anything suspicious nearby. She got a few random comments from a few people that some man has been seen in black clothing and red clothes on them, as that was a sign. She quickly followed up on the sign, but she found nothing at all when she arrived towards the grass, plain field. Damn it, she cursed as she made her way off again. Hinata scouted. Shino used his bulk to track the entire area, as Kakashi quickly made his way. As Naruto had showed the both of them that they had an interest, the both of them liked to read the Ichi novels. But that was not all. They seemed to like much of the same things, and the both of them were kind of a loner. It wasn't like he was dating her or anything, or even going out with her. But unknown to Naruto or the others, they spent time together, as Yujito told Kakashi not to tell them because they will use it against her. Not until she was certain about this thing that they have been going on with. After all, she had spent more time in the village before she had left. It was just that some way, and Naruto never saw her. So with that, Kakashi made his way eager to find her before the inevitable. After all, despite not being so close to her, it would seem like he was cursed, always losing everyone that he come to grow some kind of attachment to. Meanwhile, Naruto stopped right in the clearing center. Here should be good enough, he said, as he closed his eyes. As Naruto stood there unmoving, Zetsu rose up out of the ground as he narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. As Naruto did not move, Zetsu felt it. The trees started to crackle, the leaf. They started to break and trip off as electricity started to wash out of Naruto's body like a stream. His body got swallowed with electricity before he shot it up in the sky. He knew that this would damp on Kiba's senses, and maybe on Shino's as well, with the rain, but he needed it at the moment. The sky became dark as electricity coursed through the clouds. The others looked up. Is this Naruto? Sakura wondered. As she didn't know if it was natural at all, the rain hadn't started to fall yet. Zetsu watched as Naruto stood there, as Naruto placed his hands together as he started to draw. The electricity in the sky went off in a boom. Lightning rushed down from the heavens and struck Naruto full on. His entire body was electrified. His muscles, his neuron, everything was on point as his hair frazzled up. Zetsu watched as Naruto was glowing like a star. Naruto snapped his head towards Zetsu. Zetsu blinked as he was in the tree. As Naruto turned his head towards him more. Who are you? He said. Zetsu was shocked. Was he talking to him? Naruto moved as Zetsu disappeared. As Naruto had teared through the tree, he had saw that piece of black clothing, the Akatsuki. As Naruto looked towards the ground as he saw, he could sense it. No in Sage Mode. As Jiraiya had told Snan that Naruto Sage Mode was different from any other. As Naruto Sage Mode was quite different, it was impossible for him to just gather natural energy. That seemed to be out of the question because his body was... his neurons, everything was just too electrified. The nature energy wouldn't stay still. It wouldn't calm, it would not steady. It was frazzling out. So instead, Naruto shot a potent beam of lightning into the sky and allowed that beam of lightning to absorb the natural energy around, which he could harness and pull it into a lightning beam. He then brought it back down as it flooded his system, giving him a long period of time to stay in Sage Mode. As his entire speed, his reflex, his strength, his senses were enhanced towards a different level. His eyes were completely sparkling, electricity pooling from them. His eyebrows were gone, just fizzling, as they were completely blue. His hair was standing up, it was like floating in the air. His fingertips, there were strange blue lines running on his arms, as they were dancing with electricity. As Naruto moved, dashing as fast as he could sense it, the entire air was electrified, he could feel it. Everything around us, he could feel the animals, where his friends were, over towards the distance. He could also feel all of his clones as well. As he moved through the air, his sensory was wider and his speed was intense. As Naruto moved as fast as he could, trying to pick up on something with his larger sent to a range. One of his clones then saw something strange. As the clone placed his hand on the ground, as Naruto could feel through the clone as well, so Naruto felt it on the ground. A massive amount of chakra. The clone poofed away as Naruto got the image. He was gone, his feet bursting through the ground. Immediately, Zetsu rushed back in the cave. He's coming, and fast! Hidan, Kakazu, go. Slow him down, said Pain. With pleasure, Hidan said. Remember, you can't kill him, you idiot, said Kakazu. As the both of them made their way out of the cave, the side of the wall just rolling off. As Naruto was making his way straight there, Hidan extended his arms in a welcoming gesture. Ah, come Jinchuriki, he said. But Naruto was not slowing down. Kakazu, is he gonna? Yes, Kakazu said. As Hidan smiled, he swung his staff. Move, said Naruto as he didn't waste any time. An explosion exploded from his body that blew the two away. They were saying sailing a massive strike. It was like a lightning from Kami itself had slammed into the ground. It threw the both of them like a wild piece of trash as they crashed over the distance. As Naruto broke through the second wall that was closed behind them, tearing through it like it was paper as he appeared in the room. His eyes quickly scanned. His eyes were moving fast. The first thing Naruto took note of was those strange ripple eyes, but he wasn't paying attention to that. So, that's it, huh? Said Naruto as he looked towards the giant statue. Yeah. Destroyed, said Kurama. Obliterate it now and stop all of this. And so you can free her as well. Start from the base. With pleasure, said Naruto. As he harnessed all the natural energy, he forced it out of his body. He brought it down. Pain narrowed his eyes as he saw the fluctuation. Natural energy, he said. As he didn't think that the Jinchuriki had reached that far already. Of course he knew about Sage Mode because of Jiraiya. He cursed. He looked towards the statue. This should be enough, he thought to himself. They hadn't got everything yet, but if they did not move, if he did not release the Gedo statue, it would surely be as Naruto fired the massive ball of lightning. The thing ripped through the air, poof. The Gedo statue was gone as Yujito started to fall. As the ball of lightning obliterated several massive mountains peak, just rendering them to dust. Everything was just gone. That explosion that swallowed the entire area. The place was bright for a couple of seconds. As, lucky enough, no one has around this place. It was just a hollow, empty battlefields. The landscape, the entire place had changed. The nature energy clashing with Naruto violent. Lightning chakra had obliterated every single thing around. As Naruto dashed forward and she dropped right into his arms, as his entire features had returned back to normal. As Naruto placed a hand right to her neck, as he heard nothing. There was nothing. No pulse, nothing at all. As he paused. Before he felt it, it was low. Extremely low, but she was alive. As Naruto placed a hand on her stomach. How's she doing, he asked. Well, they took the Nabi out of her. But how is she? But some of his chakra, it's still inside of her. It's keeping her alive, but her body is in a bad state from having so much of the chakra pulled out at once. You need to get her to your friend. Yeah, said Naruto as he activated the seal on his arm. Hey. What the hell was that? That is not how the world works. You can't just slap someone with a dose of lightning bolt like that and then run away, said Hidan. Naruto turned towards the man confused with Yujito in his arms. He was shocked. How could this man still be standing like that? There wasn't even a scratch on him other than his torn robe. How? Well, it's your lucky day, Hidan said. You're gonna find out. Naruto created a clone. Bring her towards Sakura and tell her what happened. The clone nodded as he ran towards the back. After all, there was a big open area behind Naruto. The others had received the symbol as they were making their way quickly. As the clone quickly made his way out there, making sure that Yujito was comfortably set. As Naruto cracked his knuckles, you know, because she's alive, I'm gonna say this is a win. A big win, said Naruto. Because you want to know something? You guys will be the 4th Akatsuki members that are gonna die. Well, that's where you're wrong, Hidan said. You see, the thing is, I can't die. And he over here is just a natural freak. So yeah, everything can die, said Naruto. Well, not me, said Hidan. Can't you see that, you gluttony? Not even a single scratch. Well, I guess I'll just have to try hard and harder, said Naruto. I guess you will, said Hidan. As Naruto felt it as he ducked. As Kakazu's feet passed over his head. Not much of a talker, are you, said Naruto, looking up at Kakazu. Kakazu shook his head as he brought down his feet and smashed it. As Naruto leaped away. Kyuubi Jinjulki, Kakazu said. Once they take what they want from you, I'll be taking that body of yours. Wait, what? Said Naruto. As Kakazu simply skipped over that. You're worth quite a lot, you know that, right? You've been a nuisance over the past couple of years. A lot of people want to see you dead. I'll be sure to hand you over to them. So, don't get yourself so torn up, right? Seems like you people don't understand how this situation is gonna go. As Naruto cracked his neck, as he stretched his arms, as he bounced on the ball of his feet, as he snapped his eyes towards him and he was gone. As Hidan brought his sight around and swing, as Naruto appeared right on the tip of the sight, before flipping off as Hidan launched his arm towards him. As Naruto twists in mid-air, before dropping his foot, BAM! He shattered Hidan shoulder bone as he slammed his other foot across the man's face, launching him towards the wall. Before Naruto's feet could even touch the ground, Kakazu came in. His body had changed color to a metallic. As Naruto brought his hands in front of him in an X-guard, Kakazu's fist smashed into his guard, throwing him as Naruto break through the opposite wall. Naruto rolled on the ground as he got to his feet, his arms trembling. What the hell? It seems like he has the ability to harden his skin. Because that wasn't an ordinary punch, said Kurama. You're telling me, said Naruto. Meanwhile, as the others regrouped as they quickly made their way, they came to a stop though, as Naruto was making his way towards them. As they saw him, dashing off trying to find them, Naruto said Samui. I'm a clone, he said. The boss sent me to get her to you. As he looked towards Sakura. What happened to her? Some of the tail beast chakra is still in her body, but after having the rest of it being yanked so violently, it seemed to have strained her coils towards the limit. Put her down right here, said Sakura. As she started to check over Yujito. You guys go, I'll handle this. Kakashi nodded, but he had to leave someone here for her just in case. Kiba, Shino, both of you stay with Sakura. Hinata, Samui, with me, he said. With that, they quickly separated. As Kakashi glanced back to Yujito one last time. As Samui was looking at her former teacher, as she hoped that she was going to be alright. With that, they quickly made their way off. Meanwhile, as Naruto ducked as a sight passed over his head, he didn't know how this guy was keep getting back up. Perhaps he was truly immortal. As Naruto flipped back, Akatsuki appeared behind him as Naruto ducked. Hidan was rushing at him from the front, and Kakazu appeared behind him right at the last moment. So Hidan was not prepared to leap back, as Kakazu's fist smashed into Hidan's nose because of Hidan moving too fast. As a loud crunching sound could be heard, as the man's nose was destroyed, he was picked off his feet and thrown. As Naruto flipped in mid-air, he released a jet of lightning spark straight down towards Kakazu. Lightning was strong against earth, so Kakazu did not chance it, especially what he heard from this god of lightning as he moved out of the way as the lightning destroyed the ground. Hidan picked himself back up. Damn it, Kakazu, watch where you're going. Don't get in my way, Kakazu said, as Hidan threw his sight straight towards Naruto, who was still dropping. The sight was inches away from Naruto as Naruto twists. His hand got covered in lightning as he pulled out the Reiga blade before he severed the staff. Hidan's eyes went wide as he pulled back the pole. You just shit, he said in rage. He launched himself towards Naruto as he pulled out a pike as he swung it at Naruto. Naruto ducked and twists. He didn't know how this guy was an S-rank criminal. Perhaps it was because of his so-called immortality. But still, his speed and skills and strength was not there at all, as Naruto dodged each and every one of them. As Kakazu appeared behind him, Naruto leaped in mid-air. How the hell am I gonna kill him though, said Naruto. Well, you can't walk if all of your bones are gone. Perhaps just put him out of commission, and then deal with that big guy. Yeah, you're right. As Naruto flipped, hey, did I destroy your weapon, said Naruto. Well, your toy was a bit badass, but I guess it's gone now. What'd you just say to me, you little shit? You heard me. You said that you're immortal, right? Because you pray to this god called... What was this god's name? Don't you speak ill of my lord Jashin. Oh, Jashin. That son of a bitch, said Naruto. Hidan, I twitch. Oh, did I offend your lord, Naruto asks. You... As Hidan launched himself forward. I will rip you to pieces, Hidan said, ready to claw Naruto's eyes out. As Naruto smiled, damn it, Hidan, he's baiting you, said Kakazu. Too late, said Naruto. As Hidan swung, Naruto ducked. He then reached up and grabbed Hidan by the head. As the both of them looked into each other's eye, Kakazu was coming towards Naruto as Naruto smirked with that solar flare, he said. As the entire place went white, causing Kakazu to pause as he looked around. He then heard the cry of Hidan, a cry that vibrated through the entire area. When the light finally died down, Hidan was nothing but mush on the ground. The man looked deflated, his eyes were no longer there because they had popped. As Naruto had sent so much lightning through his system, it burned out his eye socket. His brain was mush, his bones had melted, but he was still alive. You truly are immortal. Naruto couldn't get to finish that sentence. Wind style, fire style. As Kakazu released the two masks on his back, they released a combination attack. Inferno Blizzard. As Naruto turned to see the massive Inferno coming straight towards him to swallow him. As the thing overtook him, boom, it swallowed the entire area in a massive explosion. As Kakazu looked at the scorched, burned ground, wondering if he'd take things too far at that moment. After all, they needed Jinchuriki alive. The leader wouldn't be so happy with him if he had accidentally killed the Jinchuriki. But he heard they were quite resilient, especially this one. So that attack shouldn't have killed him. Well, unless the rumors were just rumors. Which he hoped they were not. As he waited. When the smoke and dust and everything cleared, as Naruto stood there, completely unharmed, his entire body was cloaked with lightning. A lightning shield. Whoa. I can see why you're an extra criminal. Your body, not so much, but you, said Naruto. But, like all the others, you will fall. You're a little too young to be telling me something like that, said Kakazu. Well, said Naruto, I have brought down older man than you. That would be wrong, Kakazu said. Why? Said Naruto. Well, given the fact that I was around when the first Hokage was here, I don't think that you have. Naruto blinked. You were what? You know, some jokes aren't funny, said Naruto. Believe what you must. But I am not gonna let that start-up pipsqueak brat take me down. You're nothing but a brat, and you will fall. I don't think so, said Naruto. Kakazu was about to say something as a blade whipped past his head. He ducked just in time though as he turned to deliver a brutal kick towards Samui's chest. But the girl substitute right at the last second that stone, his feet obliterated into pieces. But that gave Kakashi enough time. Slam! Kakashi's hand tear right through the man's back, ripping his heart to pieces. As Kakazu coughed up blood. As Kakashi pulled out his hand, the man dropped down to his knees. Well, considering that you're still standing there, I say that you got the other one, say Kakashi. Yeah, Watch out, said Naruto! But it was too late. Blam! The feet smashed into Kakashi's skull at point blank range. And it was also steel with Kakazu hardening jutsu. As Kakashi's brain was rattled, he was thrown. The man smashed right into a large mountain peak side, completely unconscious. As Naruto looked down with surprise, they say that surprise is the best element. I guess he learned that the hard way, said Kakazu. So where were we? As the man back then turned and twist, As Naruto watched as something came out of his back. It was a mask with the water symbol on it, but the next moment it broke apart and it was bursting into black threads. Where the hell are you? Why don't you find out, said Kakazu as he completely ripped off the rest of the cloak that was around his waist side, showing his entire form as the man was stitched up all over. Is this guy some kind of mummy, said Samui? Looks that way, said Naruto. As he watches Kakazu writhe in agony, it seems, three things came out of his back. As three strange creatures. As Kakazu stood there, as he remained with his stone heart, the fire, the wind, and the lightning stood firm right beside him. Well then, Kyuubi Jinchuriki, why do we finish our little dance? The mask dashed forward as he went straight after Samui. I got this, take care of that guy, she said as she jumped back, taking on the master blade. Naruto twisted his blade as the lightning intensified, the yellow lightning sparkling out. You wanna play? Let's play, he said, as he threw the blade towards Kakazu. Kakazu ducked. Kakazu flipped as he brought his leg around, as Naruto jumped over it and flipped. He launched himself as he grabbed his blade that was stuck in the ground, as he turned, but Kakazu pulled his head back, as his head was nearly severed by Naruto's blade. He then kicked Naruto's arm, knocking the blade away, as the blade flipped and stabbed into the ground. A clone of Naruto that he created earlier picked up Kakashi and brought him towards a safe distance. As Kakazu brought his head forward, ready to headbutt Naruto, but Naruto ducked underneath and slammed his fist into Kakazu's gut. But the man's stomach was like iron and his skin was now metallic. Keep on using that jutsu, Naruto grabbed onto his skin. He literally tried to dig his fingers inside, but the man's skin was too tough to penetrate. Kakazu brought his leg up and slammed it right under Naruto's knee, trying to break right through, but Naruto flipped over it. As Naruto held his hand up before performing one hand sign, he opened his mouth as a jet stream of water exploded from it, slamming into Kakazu, knocking him back. As Naruto then tapped the ground, a single spark, Kakazu cried out in pain as the electricity swallowed him. His body was literally smoking when Naruto was done, as he panted as he glared towards Naruto. He then cursed as he turned over, as he saw Samui as she severed the water mass. He then came towards Naruto, raised his hand, as Naruto performed another single hand sign. Spear of Zeus, he said, as an electric spear formed in his hand as he turned and threw it. Kakazu hardened his body before leaping right over the spear. He barreled towards Naruto with a simple smile, as Naruto snapped his finger. The spear exploded. All of the lightning that came from it slammed into Kakazu as he crashed on the ground. The man picked himself up quick though, only for a feat, as he wasn't ready for this, as it slammed into his face, shattering what nose he had under that mask. As Naruto flipped, he didn't waste any time as he brought his knee down. He smashed it into Kakazu's gut. He got up and grabbed the man by the face and twirled as he threw him. As Naruto leaped up in the air, holding his arm out, a massive hammer made from electricity came in his palm as he grabbed it and brought it down. Boom! He shattered the entire ground. It was destroyed. Kakazu was in the right center, smashed down first. As Naruto landed, as he panted a bit, as Kakazu's arm twitched as he lashed it out at Naruto, it actually severed right from the elbow as it was connected by threads, as it grabbed Naruto by the throat. As Naruto grabbed onto it and sent a dense amount of electricity, Kakazu cursed as his threads were burned off as Naruto tore the arm away from his neck and threw it away. Kakazu launched himself towards Naruto, a massive kick as Naruto ducked. But Kakazu's other feet came up and smashed into Naruto's nose, launching Naruto backwards as Naruto flipped in the sky and landed. Naruto wasted no time as he held out his hand, as his two arms were covered in lightning. As Naruto moved, shredding tornado, he said as he twisted in mid-air. His body moved like a blur. Kakazu leaped, but Naruto turned in mid-air. As Kakazu jumped backwards as Naruto slammed into the ground. Kakazu waited for Naruto to get up, but Naruto burst out of the ground behind him. Kakazu hardened his body, but it was not enough, as Naruto slammed right into him. The lightning slammed into his back as blood exploded from Kakazu's mouth as Naruto ripped into his skin, tearing through his defenses and bursting his hand right through the man's heart. Kakazu coughed up blood as he started to fall, as he couldn't believe. The damn brat took him down. He fought Senju Hashirama and yet a brat was able to take him down as he collapsed. As Naruto stood there, Samui sliced the fire mask. Some moments ago she was left with the lightning mask. The lightning mask was flying towards Kakazu as Naruto stood there, his back turned. Naruto Samui called out. As Naruto turned and raised his hand, the lightning mask stopped in mid-air. As Naruto turned towards it, wherever there is current, I am there, said Naruto as he grabbed the lightning mask and sucked all the electricity out of it, leaving it nothing but a husk that blew away in the wind. As Naruto stood there, triumphant, over Kakazu before he dropped to one knee, using high-grade jutsus like that in a row took a lot out of you. As Samui made her way over, as she looked around, well, I guess it's over. As Naruto felt something, Kid, watch out, said Kurama as Samui threw Naruto out of the way as she turned. As she had sensed as well, she didn't have time to move though, but at least she saved Naruto as something tear right through her. As Naruto heard metal sliding through flesh. As Naruto turned, Hidan was standing there as the man had recovered. After all, he was blessed by Jashin to heal all of his wounds. It would take him a while, but his bones, his brain, everything had healed, and he was back on his feet. The man had a crazed look in his eye. Told you I'd make you suffer, can you be Jinjulki, he said. As Naruto looked towards Samui, with a pained expression on her face, blood dripping. As she dropped to one knee, Hidan brought her in his broken sight to take her head clean off. But before he could, Naruto lost it. He gave in to rage. As his eyes turned white, his entire body underwent a change within seconds. And this was not Sage Mode or the Fox power, it was something else. But guys, be in subscribe right here for more things more to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on that bell notifications they posted. But more for now, see you guys soon. Peace.